Okay, so just setting the stage for you guys, I am a corporate social responsibility specialist or a CSR specialist, and you guys are investors at a conference that have identified interest in socially responsible investing. I'm sure many of you remember waking up Christmas morning as a kid and opening the coolest present ever, a magic kit. And it showed you how to do all the basic little magic tricks, but what it always told you was that in order to be a good magician, you had to make sure that the audience was watching this hand while you switched something out with this one. Companies have been using this trick for years. I'm sure most of you know about Coca-Cola's Save the Polar Bears campaign. But did you know that they were caught using child labor to pick sugar in El Salvador? I'm sure most of you know about Starbucks' fair trade coffee deal, where they make sure that farmers get paid a fair price for their coffee beans. Ooh. But did you know that they had a policy for years of leaving the tap water running all day, which wasted millions of gallons of water? Both of these are prime examples of greenwashing. So today I'm going to talk to you about what greenwashing is, why it's allowed to occur, and ways that you can see around it. Many companies choose to report their social and environmental activities in something called a corporate social responsibility or CSR report. This report is completely voluntary in that it is not legally required at all. The reason that so many companies produce this report is because investors demand it. They want to know not just that the companies are involved in these types of activities, but which activities the companies are involved in. Now, greenwashing is a term used to describe when these companies will use this CSR report as more of a marketing campaign or for good PR. So what they'll do is they'll pick one activity or one area of activities that's socially or environmentally based, and they'll blow it up. They'll invest a bunch of money into it. It'll be all over their website, all over their CSR report, and every advertising campaign that you see on TV. And then the area where they might have some type of responsibility or their core business is causing problems, they just kind of sweep that under the rug and don't even mention it. Now, what you'll notice in a lot of greenwashing campaigns is that the area that they're blowing up, that they're really proud of that makes them look really good, is not very connected to their core business operations. Whereas the area where they have a responsibility that they're kind of sweeping under the rug is completely connected to their core business operations. So to use Coke as an example again, the picking of sugarcane, pretty connected to the manufacturing of soda. Manufacturing of soda, maybe not such a clear connection to the polar bears. And so many investors wonder, I know that this report is completely voluntary, but why are companies allowed to use this to their advantage? Why are they allowed to only mention the areas that make them look really good and to totally skip over the areas that make them look bad? Well, the truth is that there just isn't regulation around CSR activities or CSR reporting in the US or in most countries. And while there are international frameworks that exist that require the companies that use them to address every single area of social and environmental responsibility, whether or not it makes the company look bad, these frameworks are entirely voluntary. And so you can imagine that a company that is successfully using a greenwashing campaign is not going to then voluntarily switch over to a framework where they would have to expose some of the responsibilities that they're ignoring. And so now that you know that this is happening, what can you do about it? What can you as investors do to see around this? Well, there are websites that rate or describe the social or environmental impact of companies that claim to be responsible. And so what these websites will do is they'll do independent research into each of these companies to see what the true social and environmental impact is so that they can provide an unbiased and independent report about the impact of these companies so that investors and consumers don't have to rely on the extremely biased report of the company themselves. Now, these websites will use third parties as their research, their independent research. And so some of these sources include things like publicly available health and safety records, published environmental records, information from non-governmental organizations, indexes, and even sometimes information from governments. And so the two most popular websites that are used in the US today are corporatecitizen.org, which uses 100 different sources to compile their CSR information on each company that they report on, and CSRHub.com, which uses 425 different sources to compile all of their CSR information on each company. So now that you know what greenwashing is, why it's allowed to happen, and the tools that you can use to see around it, you can be more aware in your choices to support companies that are socially and environmentally responsible, instead of watching the wrong hand of the magician.